I've been thinking lately about ministry and what that truly means to be Jesus' hands and feet. I guess we could start by being called to reach the lost, those both near and far, yet the acceptance has a cost, so why are we so surprised that it's so hard? I don't know about you, but for me, when I do pray earnestly for God to show me where He wants me to be, I make sure He knows that I'm too scared to go across the street, and I desperately plead not to send me overseas, but is this really ministry? Making it all about where I want to be? I don't know about you, but for me, my pride gets in the way, thinking I should be front stage and everyone should know my name, but is this really ministry? Everyone knowing me? I don't know about you, but for me, I eagerly want to help the orphans, but my brothers and sisters who are broken, I'd rather not listen. And when I see someone who is elderly, instead of staying, I start running. I'd rather look at my phone than acknowledge a girl who's sitting alone. I'd rather stay home and stay in my comfort zone. But is this really ministry? Making sure I feel security? I don't know about you, but for me, I have a passion for the needy. But for my friends and family, I don't want them to reject me. So instead of sharing the good news of liberty, I won't say a word. Is this really ministry? Neglecting my friends and family? I so easily see the rebellious people. I so easily forget the invisible people. I so easily judge the one who committed bigger crimes against the law. But oh, how I forgot that there's no such thing as big or small. Sin is sin, just one least damnation. Just like all of them, I need redemption. So why do I judge the one who is more sinful? All that does make me more prideful. But is this really ministry? All about judging? I don't know about you, but for me, it's easier to stand with a clean slate than one with all your flaws and mistakes. But at the end of the day, ministry is not about where I want to be, but rather where He calls me. Ministry is not about everyone knowing my name, but rather the name above all names. Ministry is not about my security, but rather leaving my security to those serving. Ministry is not about neglecting my friends and family. No. It's about serving them with my hands and feet. Ministry is not about judging, but rather about loving. Ministry is not about whether I'm qualified, but about how Jesus died. Ministry is not about I'm filthy, but rather about how He has washed me clean. Ministry is not about who I am, but all about the blood of the Lamb. Ministry is not about me. It's all about the King of Kings. Hello, you all. I hope you enjoyed that spoken word. I just want to talk a little bit about the inspiration and the story behind this spoken word that I titled Ministry. It was about 2 years ago that a friend of mine was talking about possibly being a pastor. And this is what led me to really questioning what is women's role in ministry and how does one even become a pastor, like for him. And so I started doing different researches. At the time, I was not planning on doing anything with missions, anything with ministry. That was literally the last plan I had. I was planning to just go to a state college and maybe go into psychology or something, or go into STEM. So that was literally my plan. And so it really started to change dramatically when I started researching. I started researching different colleges, Christian colleges, and comparing different Bible classes and the different courses that you had to take, the different requirements. I also talked to many youth leaders about their opinion on women's ministry. I talked to some of my friends about it. And so that's what really got me into this start of the journey of really getting into ministry. So during this time, I really wanted to take college classes early. I was a sophomore that year, and so I was like, you know what, I'm going to take my classes in my junior year and get ahead in college. And so I took my put test, and my parents were like, oh, you should also take your SAT and ACT. So I did those two too. I didn't pass for my put test, for my writing or reading, one or the other. But I did great in my SAT and the ACT, which would allow me to do something else, which I didn't know until later. So I did tell my parents about thinking about going to missions, and at that time it was missions. I changed it a little bit later to ministry. Very close together. I think the biggest difference is probably ministry works a little bit more with and inside the church, and missions work alongside, but more outreach and outside-ish. It's kind of how I think about them. I don't think that's a set definition, so please don't take my word for that. So I finally narrowed it down, the colleges, to 2 colleges. And we went and visited the 2 colleges. It was very easy to pick. I mean, I picked literally, we went to the first college, and then we went to the second college. When we went to the second college, it took 1 day to figure out that I didn't like the second college. That was how easy it was. So the door was just really open, and for a good portion of my life, at least in my high school life, I was pushing a lot of doors that I shouldn't have pushed open. And for the first time in my life, these doors were like wide open. It was just like I had to walk through. I just had to walk, and the doors were open. And that was one of the signs, I think, for me that really showed me, I think this is really God's will. You know, I don't have to push them. I just have to go and do it. But sometimes that's the hardest part, is to just go, you know. And so I signed up for summer classes, and they accepted me. I got the referrals that I need to do, and by summertime, I was taking 3 summer classes. Throughout the journey, I had many questions of, am I really called to do this? Is this something I even want to do? And I remember this youth leader, she asked this question, what is holding you back from answering God's calling? And the question stuck with me, you know, and I was thinking, I don't know what is, you know. And I think sometimes we're afraid that if we follow God's calling, then our hopes and our dreams, they just go down the trash can. You know, we have to get rid of them. And I think in a way, yes, because God has plans for us that we don't even know. But when we follow God's plan, that's enough. So sometimes we have these plans and they don't come true. But that's okay, because those plans we thought was great, but maybe probably aren't so great when we follow God's plan. You know, I think it's like a 2-year-old. A 2-year-old thinks maybe it's a great idea to stick your hand in the fire. It's really not a great idea. But the 2-year-old doesn't know that. And I think that's something really important for us. We think this is a great idea, but it's not. So God is saying, look, this is a way better idea. Another thing that really stuck out to me, and I forgot who it was, but it was a prophet in the Old Testament. And he wasn't really sure about, you know, following God's calling and God's will. And what really stuck out to me is that it's safer to go wherever God calls you, whether that's in the middle of Afghanistan, in the middle of the war breaking out. It's safer there than staying in the U.S. where there's no wars going on, because it's safer to be in God's plan than in your own plans. And I think that's what really stuck out to me. So the spoken word was originally written during that time period, the whole spring and summer. I don't know exactly. I think it was written in February, so it was in just the beginning. And the revision was written in the fall. This was a time where I really started questioning, can I even do this? You know, like, can I even do that? Like, in that time, I was kind of struggling with loving some people in my lives, which were hard to love, and I was thinking, I can't even do this. How can I handle people in ministry, you know? And that's what really got me to write, you know, about what is ministry. It's not about me, it's about others. And that's what led to the revision of that, about what is really ministry, and how ministry isn't about me, it's about the King. So after that, winter came, then spring came, and I started to really doubt if I was truly called to go into ministry. So the first thing I did was I talked to a youth leader, and she told me about how God is like a GPS, and sometimes we hear from him and sometimes we don't. He's always there, but it matters if we hear from him. It's like if you ever been on the country roads with a GPS and it's just a long straight way, you just gotta keep going. Even if the GPS hasn't said turn here, turn there, you just keep going until you hear something else. And I think that was really great advice. The second thing was about how if you step outside of God's will, because there's this thing that just doesn't sit right with you. And so I emailed I emailed the pastor of the campus that I was attending. I wasn't on campus, but I was doing online campus, and I emailed the pastor and about being called and what that really means to be called. And he emailed me back. It was Easter time. It was a little bit after Easter, actually. And he was talking about going with your hobbies and different ideas. And just I realized then, these other ideas just didn't settle with me. And then finally, I was up in the middle of the night later, and I was just realizing, what am I doing? All I'm doing, thinking about other options is just me thinking about all the different ways I could possibly run away from this calling. And it just didn't settle right with me. But when I got back on track, there was this peace that I felt like this is where God wants me to be. And I think it's something that we all have to learn as we grow and as we study God's word, as our relationship with God gets stronger. And so that's literally where I am right now, is just trying to follow God's will and keep on the straight path until he tells me to turn next. Hello y'all, thank you so much for watching this video. Remember to give it a thumbs up and to write in the comments down below, and I hope I see you next time on this channel. Bye.